Hello, I'm Joyce Eng here with my fellow Gold Derby editor, Sheehan, and Michael Douglas, who just got his third straight Emmy nomination for the Kominsky Method. Congratulations. Is this nomination any more meaningful because this was the final season of the show?
Yes, yes. Thanks, Joyce. Paul, thank you very much for having me. It is. Originally, this was a 2-year commitment for Netflix. That's how it all started out. And I had such a good time that we finished the 2 that I wanted to tie it up, wrap it up with a little bouquet, or a ribbon, tie it all together and finish the show up. Alan had different feelings. I've never known the exact reason why, whether it was a health issue or there's a certain pressure, a pace of going that may have been, he's older than I am. A combination was sorry to lose him, but I thought we had another episode in us, another season, and just want to sort of tie up the stories and talk to Chuck Lorre, who's really, he's the real deal. Boy, he's just one hell of a writer. And he felt the same way. And so he talked to Warner's Television and all that. But it was a little kind of a reluctant thing, when they saw it sort of as a two-hander and Alan wasn't going to be there. So I had a little chip on my shoulder, just in terms of making this all work. So to get 6 nominations, in the end, to me, is just a real reflection of what a good show it was. I had a great part. Chuck Lorre is a phenomenal writer. But we got nominations in casting. We have technical nominating sound. And then, of course, Morgan Freeman did, as well as Paul Reiser for supporting actor. So it was a complete unit effort. And we all have to be thankful to Chuck Lorre, who I couldn't believe this has never won an Oscar, an Emmy. He's never won an Emmy. A lot of his actors have. His shows that get nominated, but he himself has never won. So I hope, if anything this year, I'm really hoping for Chuck. I love to see him get it.
So Chuck gives every episode a title that's from a song lyric. And the episode you're submitting to the Emmy voters is Round Toes of the High Shoes. So that's from this Simon and Garfunkel song, Old Friends. And that episode is packed with your old friends. And I just love for you to just talk a little bit about working with Kathleen Turner, Barry Levinson, who directed you in Disclosure, Morgan, you worked with in Las Vegas. Just your thoughts on each of those people and playing with them.
Well, Kathleen, which we did 3 movies together, Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, and then Danny directing War of the Roses. Thank you, the War of the Roses. So there's a comfort factor, and I haven't had this opportunity with a lot of different actors. And with Kathleen, by the time we got to the War of the Roses, it was a real, you kind of know what each other's thinking. There's a comfort factor. You don't have to go through this formal introduction period of knowing each other. You can step on each other's lines and overlap. Just generally, when you work with somebody before and it's all gone well, you're just more comfortable. And acting is a very uncomfortable kind of situation, which we all are trying and contributing to try to make it comfortable. So it was great. She and I picked up like nothing left off, and there's just that kind of magic kind of chemistry thing that happens with sometimes with 2 people. So that was wonderful. With Barry Levinson, that was just a great surprise. Didn't know, at the last moment that he was going to do it, and he did a great job. And also, I got to wind up Chuck a little bit because Barry shoots from the hip. He's an improviser. He changes the lines and all of this. And I got to watch his director, Chuck, who writes everything beautifully, but is very clear about where it goes and everything else, as they sort of resolve this different style of working with each other. And he was changing Chuck's lines and whatnot. But Barry was great. And I really loved seeing this scene when he got mad at me when we're doing in the movie, the actual shoot. I said, "Whoa, Barry, good job." He was great. So again, very, very comfortable. easygoing guy, and Morgan, he's a penultimate of easygoing. We got a text. He was a fan of the show, and I saw it on Instagram, I guess last year, and Chuck did too. And we just took a shot and said, "You want to come in?" And he said, "Yeah." And that's how we were able to get a lot of the talent that came to the show. People who just like the show, didn't normally do episodic half-hour comedies, but it's such a fabulous format, the streaming. It's a half-hour comedy. There's no commercials. You can say anything you want, language-wise. So to me, it was this really wonderful combination of both feature film style and as well as using people from television. So we bring everybody together. It was a nice, a wonderful, pleasurable experience.
Definitely. Well, one of the themes of the season is that it's not too late, because Sandy reconciles with Roz and his dreams of becoming a successful actor come true. So the ending is bittersweet, but there is some happiness there. And I feel like a lot of times older characters in shows and movies, they're often portrayed with regret. So how did you feel about ending the show on a hopeful note for Sandy?
I thought it was a lovely touch. We dealt in the 3 years with what it means to be a good acting teacher and not very successful professionally as an actor, and how you deal with defensively with that or otherwise. So the epitome of being the teacher in schools versus actually doing it. So I think with everything, we're dealing with issues of age and coming to grips with losing people and health issues. So I thought, was I worried that it might be corny? Yeah, I was a little, was it too on the nose? But there's a healthy clarity about it. And I think on a lovely sense for Alan Arkin, the third season really echoed so much of him. I mean, certainly with the funeral. I mean, when Chuck first told me, we're going to start the show with Alan's funeral, I said, okay, you know more about comedy than I do, but it sounds pretty dangerous. But then he played such an instrumental part in terms of the financial rewards, the $10 million to my daughter and myself, having talked to Barry Levinson, the director, about casting me for this part. So I thought it was a lovely kind of echo of my closest friend, and all that he had done to help me in his lifetime, as long as we've been friends. And so it was kind of full tilt all the way around, winning an Emmy, putting it down, and not giving up your day job, but feeling kind of more complete. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I love also, I really got a kick out of most of the class scenes. I loved some of the best writing Chuck did, with just stories and reminiscing, and particularly at that whole scene about how you play a death scene when you're dying or somebody else is dying. I found it really, really interesting. So it's been a wonderful ride. I'm really happy that I did the show. Sorry that it's over on one side, but I was away from home long enough, and we'll see what in the future. And the other part for me, of course, is comedy, which is the reason why I started the show in the first place, was to try to learn something new, something I hadn't done much before. I'm over here in England now. We're doing our third Ant-Man, and that was the same sort of concept. I never really done a green screen picture, never done any of that. I want to see. And boy, do I get a whole new respect for actors who act with green screens around it. And the same with comedy. I thought this is a great chance to really learn and work on your comic chops. Paul Reiser is just wonderful to work with, and I learned a lot from him.
Well, you say that about your comic chops, and but that scene in this episode between you and Morgan at the studio, where you're kind of at each other, and it turns out it's an improv. So I couldn't help but think, maybe Sandy can parlay his Emmy into a master class kind of thing, like Morgan shilling in the studio. So whose do you think would be more popular, Morgan Freeman's master class or Sandy Kominsky's?
I think Morgan Freeman's probably got a run on me. He's got a head start in his notoriety. He's probably got, I probably imagine at least 10 million more followers on Instagram than Sandy Kominsky's got. So I think that one would be hard to beat. And I'd substitute for Morgan anytime he ever wanted me to.
Yeah.
But I think he would win hands down.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, both you and Morgan, you won Oscars for acting, but you one-upped him in that you also won an Oscar for producing. And we're an awards website. And I just rewatched your Oscar acceptance speech from back in 1976. And the fact that you knew that Cuckoo's Nest was the first film since it happened one night to take all the major awards is really something. I mean, were you an Oscar nerd? How did you follow them year in and year out? How did that come on your radar?
That just, well, when we got the 9 nominations,
Yeah.
we had the 9 nominations, so that immediately then I saw we had picture, director, actress, and screenplay as 5 of the 9. I had to beg Jack Nicholson because he'd already lost. I think he lost to 5 Easy Pieces. He lost an Easy Rider, and he got one of them he lost. So he already didn't even think he had a chance. So I had begged him to come. And then the awards show starts and we lose the first 4.
Oh.
We lose the first 4 awards. And Jack's like, Mikey D, I told you, man, I told you I'm this bad. Mikey said, look, come on. And then we won screenplay. Then we won director in a row, then actress, actor, and then the picture. So, but that's a very interesting point, Paul. I didn't realize I'd said that in the speech. So yeah. I must have been sound pretty cocky.
And then what I love also is that you're getting it from Audrey Hepburn, stars in one of your favorite movies, Two for the Road. And
not only that, but she also sort of not too much before this time had said that I was her favorite actor of this generation. So I was just a tremendous fan of hers.
That's a double win for you.
Yeah,
Right.
and you mentioned Jack. So then fast forward like 12 years and you win against him for Wall Street.
Yeah.
What that must have felt very, what did it feel like?
It felt good. He won his awards. And that was particularly thinking, Paul, for me, because that was the year on the Wall Street. That was the year where I felt as an actor, I'd stepped out of my dad's shadow. I mean, that was the year I had Fatal Attraction, had opened about 3 months before Wall Street. It was a big commercial hit. Wall Street did well too. And the Oscar gave me a new confidence as an actor, which I didn't have before, and really helped me kind of just really establish my own identity. As far as competing against Jack, he was more happy than I was. You know, he was very happy. We talked about it. I think he had a little more sense of what it was like to be being a second generation or third generation, as my kids are now going out, and the pluses and minuses of that situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of our writers, Kevin Jacobson, talked to Catherine, your wife, a couple months ago, and she said, we have to talk to you because you are, quote, always right when it comes to predicting the Oscars. So how did you do this year? Did you go 23 for 23?
Yeah, I'm still catching up on the movies. I got to tell you the truth. Joyce, it's been a strange year. I can only name about 4 pictures in one hand that I know about. So I've got homework to do, and I'll be waiting for all my. They'll be still sending us our DVDs to catch up. So I'm not familiar with this year's bulk. I've been working for a while, and it's hard to go to the movies. And until we get this, for me, if I get the DVDs, I'll look at them. I'm sure they'll bring them out soon.
You just do a whole like marathon binging all the screeners.
I do, yeah, I do. I'm not I hate to admit it, I'm not average movie goer. I'm hung up on sports and current events and news. I love to make movies. I love the process to produce them. But I very seldom see anything more than once. I either have seen it at a premiere or just an early screening of it. But I don't pursue it. You know, I can't say I do. I love the process of making it, and I love watching a good movie. But I waste my time in other ways.
Well, when you watch these movies, do you how often is it like you're instantly like, I'm gonna vote for this, or like this movie's winning this or that award?
But as I'm watching it, no, I mean, it's usually when I'm making the comparisons at the end of the year. I mean, some are clearer than others. I think the biggest advantage for me as an actor is producing, is the fact that I have produced, and I've learned a long time ago that it's all about the material. It's all about the material and the structure. And I'm an old-fashioned, structure guy, beginning and a middle and an end. And if you have the structure right, there's at least half a dozen directors and probably twice the number of actors who could play the part. And it's not you. There's a lot of other people that could do it well, because it's a good part.
Mm-hmm.
And you also get to realize and cherish when you have a good part. Sandy Kominsky was great. Was wonderful writing, and makes it much easier to do.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, as you mentioned before, you're now shooting Ant-Man 3, but since I know you can't say anything about the movie, but since Kominsky has ended and Marvel is now doing TV, would you ever do an Ant-Man series?
No, I mean, I know they've already got me. I mean, I should have read the small writing in my contract, because they already have you doing voiceover on some animated.
Oh, the What If. Yeah.
I don't know what the show. What If? Yeah, that's it. What If? So, and I'm doing that. I'm animated with Sam Jackson, the one I was just looking at, and all that. Yeah, I hope I didn't give away too much information. You're right. Netflix, they can get a blowgun, put your little dart right here in the side. But so no, I think I've done it. It's been a lot of fun, amazing to learn about acting. I mean, just the expression stuff that you have to do, and it's quite incredible with a clean canvas. There's nothing there, and then they just sort of tell you about missiles coming in from here or satellites from there, and looking at the places, figuring it all out, and feeling like you're overacting way over the top. And then you see it when they add the sound and the real effects and everything. It's fascinating. I mean, those are the two. I would say digital, the industry going generally digital is the biggest change that I've seen in my 55 years now in the career, and especially in the effects area, and just also the way you can work. And streaming, streaming is a wonderful bringing back together the television and movie business, since they've been on such separate tracks for so long and so many years. That it's nice that you get that overlap. This is why the Golden Globes is so popular, when you get the film and television people together, because you all crisscross at different times in your life, but now it had divided itself, and streaming has brought us all kind of back together again.
Mm-hmm. Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again on the nominations, and can't wait to see Ant-Man 3.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your show, guys. You do a very nice job.
Thank you.